All right. Again, Andrew, thanks for having me. You approached me a few weeks ago just to discuss like what's been going on with this August 1st update, dubbed the Medic update or whatever they're calling it now. So that's what we're here to do today. We're going to talk about algorithm updates in general, but in very much so honing in on theories, speculations, and diagnosis and antidote for what this whole update is all about. My name is Matt Diggity, and before we get started, I'll just give you a quick introduction to myself if you don't never heard about me before and just wondering who this guy is you're listening to right now. Before I ever got into this whole like affiliate SEO type stuff, basically my background, I have a master's in electrical engineering. I went to UC San Diego. If there's any Californians in the house, what's up? As an engineer, I did that for like 5 or 6 years, and it basically started to eat at my soul. Sitting in a cubicle working 60-hour weeks. So a buddy handed me over the 4-hour work week in 2009, and my first attempt at making money online and just being the master of my own destiny started in 2009, and it started with affiliate SEO. So I was moonlighting. I was working my job as an engineer, and then in the evenings going to my desk at home and working on websites and trying to see if I could, make some passive income for myself. And then finally in 2011, I felt like I had the success and I was making enough income to quit working for the man and go off on my own and chase after my dream of being a full-time affiliate SEO. So what it's looked like since then, I have an agency called LeadSpring, and this agency is 100% dedicated to affiliate marketing. So basically, where an agency whose entire purpose is to grow, build, buy, nurture, monetize, and flip affiliate websites. And this is 100% of what this agency does, and it's my primary source of income. On top of that, I blog about SEO at diggitymarketing.com. I think what you'll find that's different about me as opposed to maybe some other people that are talking about SEO is I'm leveraging my experience as an electrical engineer and relying on a lot of empirical testing in order to come up with various SEO techniques and testing different things out and experimenting around with different things that'll work, different things that are safe and unsafe and whatnot. I also have an agency called the Search Initiative. This is a client SEO agency where we serve clients. I have a link building service called Authority Builders. I teach SEO in the Affiliate Lab, and I'm also the host of the Chiang Mai SEO conference. If any of you guys are coming out to it this year, awesome. We're already sold out, so maybe 2019 for the rest of you guys, but love to see you come out here. That'd be great. Oh yeah, by the way, Chiang Mai SEO. What is Chiang Mai? It's a city in Thailand where I am currently based. So the agenda, what are we talking about today? Like I mentioned before, we're talking about the August 1st update. I'm first going to be talking about some misinterpretations, some speculations about it, and talk about what is already on the table in terms of theories about it, and maybe offering a little bit more than some of the like narrow-minded approaches to solving this algorithm update. After that, we'll talk about the difference between theories and facts we know about it. And then we get to the juicy part, what you should actually do in order to recover or protect your site from future algorithm updates. So let's jump right in, guys. Let's start off with the list of theories on what this update is about. And the first one we have is this update is about your money, your life niche, YMYL niche. So like finance and health and all these kind of things. Like this was an update that was specifically targeted for YMYL sites. That's theory number one. Theory number two, which is kind of closely related to it, is that this update requires you now to use something called expertise, authority, and trust, EAT. Okay, that's theory number two. And theory number three, and this is in the minority, but some people are thinking this is a backlink related update and people using spammy techniques and spammy backlinks, software, PBN, stuff like that got hit. So let's go in and look at these one by one. And again, my point here is not to like discredit anyone's theories. Of course, I'm like a big proponent of free thought and discussion and stuff like that, but I'd like to look at how it might be a fallacy to look at any of these things from a narrow-minded approach, which might create blind spots for you. So first, YMYL. There's no doubt about it. If we just look at Mozcast, like temperature by category, what this is, they look and see how much each of these niches got shook up by this algorithm update on August 1st. And we see that there's undoubtedly health is the #1 guy that was affected. But let's look at here at number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Vehicles, beauty, hobbies, and arts and entertainment. Like, these are hardly considered your money or life, where your life or your money are on the line if you read advice about it, right? So if we can definitely say that, sure, that's a cool name for it, the Medic update, but there's a million examples for other kind of sites that were hit by this. Like, for one of my good friends, he got one of his hosting review sites hit, but this is clearly not your money or life. Also, I have a little cousin that I bought an affiliate website for, trying to get him into the dark side and get him into affiliate SEO. He has a bathroom product review site, which is definitely not your money or life if you're reading some Amazon bathroom product review site. So that one got hit too, and the list goes on and on. There's no need to really label out all these counterexamples, but the only point I'm really trying to make with this is, like, if we're assuming this is a YMYL update, the only thing we're really doing for ourselves is putting ourselves in a blind spot, because if we assume it's YMYL, then we're only going to enact strategies and prevention mechanisms that are targeted for YMYL. And it's just going to put us in a blind spot. Sorry for saying that 100 times. Okay, the next thing is expertise, authority, trust. Like, this big thing is going around about, like, we need EAT in order to convey to everyone that our sites are trustworthy and whatnot. So this EAT thing came from the Google Quality Rater Guidelines. It's a document that got published publicly not too long ago. But what it is it's like it's a PDF that's given to their quality raters. So these are like stay-at-home, work-from-home people that do searches for Google's, and they rate websites based on various criteria. And what I think they use it for is to help fine-tune their algorithm with the human eye. So this EAT came up in this document. You can see here, like, it just says here, for all of the pages that have a beneficial purpose, the amount of expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, EAT is very important, right? And this kind of goes hand in hand with what people would make a connection with between the like it being a YMYL update. If websites are talking about health stuff, then they should be doctors, they should have authority, they should have trustworthiness, and maybe the websites need to talk about this. Here's another part of the Quality Rater Guidelines. It says, understanding who is responsible for a website is a critical part of assessing expertise, authority, and trust for most types of websites. High quality pages should have clear information about the website so that users feel comfortable trusting the site. So let's take a look at how we might establish EAT for a website. It starts with the About page. So here's an example from Healthline Nutrition. Their About page shows the actual authors who contribute to the site. It shows all their credentials. It just screams of expertise, authority, and trust. Okay, so this is a great example of a site that did well in this August 1st update. And then you might take it a step further with author pages. So, like, not only are the authors and the contributors on the About page, but they might have their own single pages. Now, here's a page on WebMD for a doctor named Joseph F. Goldberg, and he's a contributor to WebMD, and he's got all his credentials, a little bio, and what he's like known for, where he went to school and all that on WebMD itself. And then what people are saying to do is, in your articles, you might even link to the About page, or you might even link to Joseph's author page here to more fully just say that this article is related to something, or related to an author that knows what they're talking about, that has the EAT attributes and all that. So for bonus, I suppose we could also go into our articles and add author schema. All this stuff in the article itself, even the link to the page, might just be something that could satisfy a manual reviewer that's looking at the page and can make this connection. But if we truly want to tell the robot who is the author of the page, then you use schema, which is basically like some code that will go into your page and say, here's the author of the article, and they make connections, and that's robot-friendly information. So then the last part of EAT is establishing offsite credibility. So if I just Google this doctor's name, Joseph Goldberg, MD, and I tell it not to return anything from WebMD, we can see all over the place. This guy's published. He's got a lot of credentials, so he's got his offsite credibility too. So having said all that, just thinking about all this stuff, can all this be faked? I mean, what is stopping us from going out and just creating a fictitious name for our author of our website? We can also go out and go to our articles. We'll put up author schema, and we'll link back to our about page, and then we'll go out and buy 10 guest posts on like health-related websites. Like, couldn't that all be faked? And I say that is a high possibility of it being faked, and it's probably very probable right now. So my hypothesis on all this EAT stuff is that it remains part of the manual user reviews, but I don't think it's part of the algorithm yet. I don't think that they're quite there yet. And if I'm wrong on this, like, I'll happily eat my words. But my hunch is that the algorithm is not up to speed on that, just because it can be so easily faked. Okay, so let's talk about the backlink hypothesis. Based on like all the data that I've seen, and the type of SEO I do, it can be considered gray hat SEO. I dabble in some of the gray hat SEO stuff, like buying backlinks. I use PBNs from time to time, but I'm definitely also a white hat SEO too, and I have a lot of friends in both camps. And there seems to be no higher population of people that were affected, white hat or black hat. It just seems to be a content-related update. That said, I did see a lot of confirmation on people getting hit for irrelevant 301 redirects. So meaning that, like, let's say you have a website like, I don't know, a golfing website or whatever, and you decide you want to acquire some expired domain that used to be a golf shop somewhere and 301 it to your site and get some link juice. I was seeing this kind of stuff get hit. It happened personally to my little cousin, who I bought that affiliate website to, bought the affiliate website for. So he has bathroom product reviews site, and this website had a 301 redirect going to it from a government site. So this site is not YMYL, it's bathroom product reviews. Its EAT is superb for this kind of site. Like, obviously you don't need any EAT for deciding whether or not you want to buy like some toilet seat cover, right? But yet anyways, this site has great EAT. It's got great author transparency and stuff like that. And it's a 100% white hat SEO site, except for this irrelevant 301 redirect from a government organization. It's a very, very fine website that's getting the redirect from, yet it's irrelevant. It used to be a government site about wastewater and stuff like that, not quite about bathroom products. So that's all I got to say about backlink related stuff. So let's talk about the difference between the theories and the facts that we know about it. So some of the theories first is that this update and all the other updates only affect one niche at a time. We know what kind of fallacies and blind spots we can put in for there. Also, some other theories is that this update and other updates only focus on one particular part of SEO. But the facts of the matter is that updates in general, and ever since 2000, I don't know, maybe it was early 2018, like with the Fred update and all these convoluted updates where they're lumping in stuff together, and it's not like it used to be. For example, like we had Panda and Penguin. Panda was targeting on-site SEO stuff like spun content and thin pages and that kind of stuff. And then we had Penguin that was targeting backlinks. Ever since like we started to see unnamed updates, we started to notice that they're very multifaceted, and that's on purpose. That's so we can't just reverse engineer what the heck is going on and just make adjustments. They do it on purpose to confuse us, because at the end of the day, Google doesn't need us to be good at SEO. They want us to find SEO confusing, so we buy AdWords, right? So another fact we know about it is we're never going to know the exact stuff we need to fix. Like I'm saying, all this stuff is mixed together. They're attacking things like links and over optimized ads all at the same time, so you never really have a quick solution. That said, if you know what to do and you're doing quality SEO, you can just fix everything and you're going to get rewarded for it. Now, that might seem hard, but the sad reality of it is the days of easy SEO are long numbered, and it really does have a higher barrier to entry. And SEO is no longer a hobby. You do need to be an expert. But now it's time to discuss what are all the things. What are all the things that you should take a look at in order to make sure that your site can recover from this update or protect yourself from ones going forward. First, let's start with all the stuff I just mentioned before related to these theories about why and whale. Go ahead and build out a complete incredible about page. You can add authors and schema to each of your blog posts. This is a little bit above and beyond, but you can do like WebMD does and consider getting credible reviewers. I'm honestly not going to take that measure myself. And make sure your about and contact pages are visible from the nav bar. Now, again, you just heard me say before that I don't think that this is part of the algorithm, so why am I telling you to do it? Just to get this out of your train of thought, just to clear your head from this kind of stuff. Like, SEO is complicated enough as it is. There's 200 or more ranking factors. When the shit hits the fan and you're trying to debug your website, do you want to be dealing with 200 of them, or do you want to be dealing with 5? So just cross this easy stuff off the list so you have a cleaner slate. Now I want to talk about some of the more influential, newish type stuff that people are looking at in terms of getting their websites up to par in 2018. So for one, avoid deceptive ads. This is a snapshot of the paleo diet site, and you can see here everything that's highlighted in orange. This is an ad that makes some ad revenue, of course, but it's deceptive. It's kind of blended into how the website looks. Like you can even see here, like their logo has these 5 colors here, and this is branded ads right here, or at least they're meant to look like they're branded, but they're blending in and they're deceptive. So avoid doing that kind of stuff. I know they convert well, but you're risking getting the ban hammer, right? In terms of content quality, start to look a lot at query intent, right? So think about the question that's being asked by the query. Like, for example, best golf clubs, right? Like, think about that query and think about what the user is trying to get answered for themselves when they're typing that in. They're looking to see what is the best golf clubs. What are the best golf clubs? And you type that query into Google and you look and see what kind of sites are ranking 1 through 10. Are they all review roundup sites where they're ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Or are they all different pages that say, I don't know, different e-commerce stores which say that each of their golf club is the best? I highly doubt it's the latter. So what you want to do is you want to blend in with the query intent. Look at what Google thinks is the best type of answer to that question and follow suit. Also start to take a look at readability. So there's a lot of different tools you can use online to give yourself a Flesch Kincaid score, which will tell you how readable your page is. People are arguing that a 7th grade level is what converts the best and what reads the best and what gets people to feel like they understand everything, yet feel at the same time that the writing level is enough to interest them. So it does some good to take a look at that stuff. Also think about how you're structuring your content. So like the old days of just having big long form content is not really cutting it anymore. Our attention spans are a lot shorter these days, so we need a lot of visuals and graphics and tables and interesting things to keep us staying on the page. And at the end of the day, when people bounce from your page, that's a prime indicator to Google that they're not interested in what you're talking about and that your page might not be answering them properly. So some more stuff. Mobile UX. So mobile, like I'm sure, like if you're staying up on SEO news in 2018, you've seen mobile this, mobile that, but it actually is super damn important. First things first, just run your site through a mobile-friendly checker. Search.google.com/test/mobile-friendly will just give you a baseline check to see, does Google think that everything is friendly? Are your images resizing on automatically and stuff like that? In addition, you're going to want to go above and beyond. So use some of these checkers that they have online that'll go in and compare, load your page on various different mobile devices and iPads and all that kind of stuff, and make sure that does all your content visibly show up correctly on the page? Does the font size scale correctly? Does your normal like paragraph font just all of a sudden jump up to font size 72? Like, that's not a good thing. Look at the padding, which is the distance between the font and the edge of the screen. Just make sure it didn't like squeeze it down to be a super narrow strip of text or bleeding off the page. That doesn't, I don't think the algorithm is looking at that kind of stuff, but users are, and when they see that kind of stuff, they bounce, which is a negative ranking signal, right? And then responsiveness. So just making sure that you shouldn't really have to scroll left and right to see the whole screen on a website on mobile in 2018. And then friendly word of advice, don't use pop-ups on mobile. I know they help convert, but I think that they do more damage than they do good. A nice tool that I use to check all this stuff is responsivedesignchecker.com. It's free. You just enter in your URL, and then you can usually click between different devices to see how everything lines up. I end up getting various developers to work on my different websites and just tell them, hey guys, use this tool. I want every single view of every single page to look perfect. Go have at it. And this does help from both an SEO perspective, but it definitely helps from a conversion perspective as well. Definitely worth your time to take a look at. So now that we talked about a lot of the fluff, I want to get into some of the core essentials of SEO that are absolutely imperative that you have to have straight if you expect to rank in 2018 and beyond. And I've broken this down into 3 sections: technical SEO, on-site SEO, and off-site SEO. So let's dig into them one by one. Now, in terms of technical SEO, what we're finding right now is speed optimization is an absolute must, especially since we're in mobile first indexing now. So make sure your pages, now I'm not just talking about your home page. Obviously, the first thing you check is your home page, but every single page, make sure that's loading in 2 seconds or better. That's the standard these days. Try to beat that though. Make sure to resolve any HTTPS conflicts. I'm sure everyone's on the way or has thought of or is already migrated to SSL and having HTTPS on their site. Just make sure that you don't have any forwarding issues, like there's not 2 versions of your site, the HTTP version, the HTTPS version. That's going to cause havoc technically. Also think about managing your crawl budget. So depending on the trust and the authority level that Google thinks of your site, they hypothetically assign a crawl budget to you. So the amount of pages that they'll go and take a look at and visit on your website. So you want to make sure that you're only really indexing and you're only really telling the crawler to look at certain pages that you really want them to rank. There's going to be a lot of stuff on your website that really doesn't matter if it ranks or not. So I took a look at broscience.co, and broscience does have a crap ton of their cloaked affiliate links index. So we can see here that all over the place they got redirects running for their affiliate links because we all know they do look better, but they're indexed here, so that's just consuming their crawl budget. Also, we can do like site : and then look at every index page on broscience and then use the in URL operator and then tag, and I can see that they've indexed all their tag pages, which are really unnecessary to have indexed. I'm sure the category pages, author pages are also indexed too, and there's just a lot of stuff indexed in Google, and you're spreading out your crawl budget and telling the robot to go all over the place when you really just want them to look at your core pages that you want to rank and monetize, right? Okay. Definitely clean up all the 404 errors. So what's a 404 error? This is basically a page on your site that used to exist, but maybe you changed the URL or deleted the page, and you got links coming into it, so it creates 404 error. How you clean it is just take that old URL and redirect it to whatever you want to redirect it to, maybe the most relevant page or maybe the new page that you changed the old URL to, something like that. Take a look at orphan pages. So what an orphan page is, let's imagine the robot visits the home page of your site. It'll look at all the outbound links on this page and start tracing through your website. An orphan page means it exists on your website yet it just doesn't have any way to get to it except through the sitemap. So just resolve these guys, maybe link to them somehow, get them in the nav bar, or delete them altogether. It's just tidiness for your website. Remove or bulk up thin content pages. I put an asterisk on this one because I'm not really sure how much this one helps. But again, it's one of those things I like to just cross off the list. So what I like to do is just do an audit on my site and make sure that any page that has less than 1,000 words of content, like some are okay, like your contact page doesn't need 1,000 words, but either I'll bulk them up or de-index them or remove them, something like that. Again, just trying to give a signal to Google that all the content on my site is rank worthy. You can use a tool called SiteLiner to detect duplicate content. Again, it's not really what we think is duplicate content. We know we're writing all the pages to be unique, and we've never copy and pasted one article to another, but it's what Google and algorithms think is duplicate content. And SiteLiner will tell you what percentage of duplicate content you have between various pages on your website. And then just sweep up all the extra stuff. You can do a technical site audit through tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush, and they're going to help sweep up. Well, they'll actually do a lot of this other stuff that I talked about earlier, but they're also going to sweep up all the little nitty-gritty stuff, like checking to see if any of your images have empty alt tags, or if you have really short page titles that aren't complete, or maybe you didn't even fill out the meta descriptions for pages. So that's what I have to say about technical SEO. Now let's jump into the on-site SEO factors. Number one, I'm not saying these in any specific order of importance, nor am I talking about every little on-site SEO factor. I'm assuming you guys know how to optimize titles and metas and deal with keyword densities, that kind of stuff. But I just want to talk about some major pitfalls that I see a lot of people running into these days. And the first one is balancing internal anchor text. Now, we all know that if we're building links to a website or a page, that we want to balance the category of anchor text that's coming into these pages. Like if you're trying to rank for best protein powder, it's not going to be a good signal to Google if every single link has the anchor text best protein powder coming to it. So this is common knowledge that you're supposed to balance the external links coming into your site, but there also requires a balancing of the internal links coming to your site. I use a very, very pessimistic, passive, very safe internal anchor text strategy. I just make sure that only 50% of the links coming to any page internally are target anchor text, meaning that they just contain any one of the words, best or protein or powder. For the rest of it, I use 25% URL or brand, and 25% would be miscellaneous, like click here, read more, stuff like that. Next, keyword cannibalization. Now, what is keyword cannibalization? Basically, we've known for quite some time that Google doesn't like to rank multiple pages of a website for the same keyword term. They don't want you to type in best protein powder and see the result 1 through 10 is all from the same website. That's not what they're looking to do. They're looking to serve a good result to their viewers, so they want to serve up variety. So they combat it with keyword cannibalization. Now, what this is, and what you're looking at here, this is a screenshot of Ahrefs, and you're looking at ranking history over time. And these different colors you see here are different URLs that are ranking. So what happens with keyword cannibalization is, for quite some time, from November to January, we had a keyword ranked on page 1. It's this dark blue line here, and everything's going nice and mightily fine. And we're happy we're on page 1, stuff like that. Now, in January timeframe, we had this light blue URL starting to rank on page 1 as well. This is not the intended page we wanted to rank for this keyword. This is just a page that happened to very, very little talk about the same topic as the dark blue one, but Google just started to rank both of them, and look what happens when it's ranking both of them at the same time. Boom, a big tank right here. They both just crashed down together. So how you combat this is basically de-optimizing the page that you don't want to rank. Look at the keywords that they're competing for, get them out of the main optimization points like the H1, the title, stuff like that. This is a major issue. I highly recommend, after this webinar, going and loading your site to some tool like this, Ahrefs, and just looking at keywords, looking at anything that's like on page 2 to 5 that you know used to be on page 1, and just saying, is it because it's competing with another page on my site? And this just could be it right there. In addition, okay, so let me just start this off with a story. So basically, like with all these core algorithm updates that are coming out, like I didn't have any sites that were particularly hit except for that shower review website, the bathroom site that I bought from my little cousin. So I don't really have that much experience with this one, except for helping to analyze tons of my friends get out of them. But we've had more core algorithm updates this year, and one of my major websites was hit by one of them. So one thing that I noticed by these algorithm updates is that when they're rolling out, they seem to be affecting entire websites. So it's not like these algorithm updates were picking on one single page at a time. They were kind of going in and just kind of demoting an entire site by maybe 10%, 20%, 30%, and sometimes even more. So at the same time, when one of my sites got hit, I was messing around with a technique called TF-IDF optimization. What is it? It's beyond the scope of this presentation. It can get a little bit technical, but in simple terms, it's basically a modern keyword density approach. What it does is it basically compares the count of the words on your page versus the other people in the top 10, and then gives you a breakdown if you're hitting those keyword densities the same as the other ranking guys are. It's quite clever. Anyhow, the site that I had that got hit a little bit, when I was testing TF-IDF on a sprinkle full of these pages, I did start to notice while everything else got hit, these ones held their ground, and some of them they actually moved up. So this is something that I'm looking into as well. Of course, being an engineer, like I'm not just going to say that one single instance of something helping would be concrete evidence, but this does seem to help, and I'm testing this further. If you want to see how that comes along, just go to my blog, diggitymarketing.com, and I'm sure I'll publish about it sometime soon. The tools I use for this would be Link Assistance Website Auditor, or you can use a tool called texttools.net. Okay, now let's jump into some offsite SEO stuff. The first thing I can definitely recommend is doing a complete backlink audit. And in doing so, you're going to want to get rid of all the spam. Like, of course, there's all these tools and directories and like data comparison services that are going to analyze your site and maybe pull some of your content and link to you sometimes too. Just go ahead and get rid of all that stuff. If you're like me and you're in competitive niches, you're definitely getting negative SEO. So I know Google says that they can ignore most spam and most negative SEO. The keyword here is most. So are you okay with some of it getting through? That's why it's worth it to do some audits and breaking out the disavow tool. Also, consider getting rid of your clearly paid links that maybe in 2013 or 14 you went out and got a scholarship campaign, or you went out and you bought some sponsored links and stuff like that. I do a lot of assistance for people that get manual penalties, and I can say that even more than black hat SEO techniques, PBNs and stuff like that, very obviously clearly paid links that were at one point in time considered to be white hat are primary triggers of manual reviews these days. How to get rid of all this stuff? Of course, like try to get them removed if you can, but don't be afraid of using the disavow tool. I know people have this kind of thought in their head that once you use the disavow tool, it's like putting a stamp on your site that says this is naughty boy. It's not really like this. This is a very, very automated tool. Doesn't put a stamp on your site. Everyone gets spam, and what other way are you going to be able to combat it than using this tool? All right, so another thing that I can say is definitely take a look at your anchor text ratios. You want to balance them according to your niche. And I know it's been common practice in old school SEO to kind of assume that there's a golden ratio of the amount of target anchor text versus URL, topic, miscellaneous anchor text that might go to your page. But the approach that I use is just to look at who's ranking in the top 5 of Google, reverse engineer what their kind of anchor text looks like, and then follow suit. Because at the end of the day, Google shows us their hand. If we're playing poker with Google, they're showing us their hand. They show us exactly what it takes to win. So use that data and mimic it to your advantage. Also, I've seen that anchors with best and topped are severely getting picked on right now. I just published a blog post on my site talking about what we found analyzing tons of different websites for manual penalties. And there's an unproportionately high amount of websites and links that are getting picked on that are using the words best and top in their anchors. I know it sucks. I'm using these guys all the time. Practically every single page on my website that makes me hardcore money has the word best in it, right? Because we're all reviewing affiliate products. But these seem to be getting scrutinized more than other keywords and other anchors. So, I mean, I'm just kind of working around it. You don't need to send the word best in order for Google to know this is a best or a review page. Like, Google has AdWords. They're very smart about picking up semantic relevance and stuff like that. Okay, and like I talked about before, avoid penalizable white hat links. We described irrelevant 301 redirects, but also look at irrelevant niche edits. So like if you're doing outreach yourself or you're buying backlinks and you want to rank your best golf driver page, for example, like don't just go out and reach out and scrape the internet for every single page that has the word driver in it and trying to get a link on something an article that talks about who's going to be the next getaway driver in the next Snatch movie, for example. Like that's an irrelevant article that's going to be linking to you, and that could potentially get you penalized at one point. Definitely look out for clearly sponsored posts. Avoid stuff like, for example, getting a guest post where they clearly have an author box and your link is coming from that author box. That's just a primary indication that you paid for that link, and that's exactly what Google doesn't want. Also, look out for getting links on pages that clearly mark yours as a sponsored post. That's just asking for trouble. If you're looking for a safe place to get links, I have a service called Authority Builders, and basically, like, the whole concept we have behind this is to get links from sites that rank themselves. If you want to know what Google is okay with, look at what they've actually ranked themselves, and to know that, you just look and see which sites have traffic. So one of the things we guarantee is that all the websites in our inventory have 1,000 visitors or more per month, or you get your money back. Everything is audited to make sure they're not undetectable at paid sources. We work highly with a very talented SEO named Rick Lomas, who specializes in manual penalties, and we sussed out the criteria that basically Google can identify any link as paid. We make sure that these are not link farms. Essentially what we do is we outreach to every single website on the internet that has 1,000 visitors or more. So we're not scraping the internet for websites that say write for us or guest blog or paid links and stuff like that. We're just linking out, or we're reaching out to normal websites. We've probably reached out to you before, asking if you want to get a little cash for links. And of course, these are not PBNs. And all these websites have real social activity. And these have real owners that care about the sites. So if you're interested in trying it out, I created a coupon code for you guys here at MoreNiche. Just use MoreNiche 10, and that will get you 10% off all of your orders for a lifetime. And if you sign up with us, you'll find that there's already $30 credited to your account. So give it a shot. And that was my pitch. Thanks for lasting through it. Bad marketer. Okay, so need more details about all this stuff. Like, we talked about a crap ton of different things related to this new algorithm update, all this technical SEO stuff, on-site SEO stuff, keyword cannibalization, backlink audited. I know it's a lot to try to convey to you guys through my voice on a webinar, but if you go to diggitymarketing.com, just look at this free case study, algorithmic penalty review case study. Basically, this is a very, very long article that gets into all the nuances of how we recovered a site that got hit by an algorithmic penalty in the past at my agency, TSI. The next question you might be having, if you got hit by this algorithmic penalty and you do all the things like I say, how long should it take to expect a recovery? So unfortunately, with these kind of things, the recovery isn't instant. Like, these kind of algorithms aren't what they call live or rolling or cumulative or like always running type things. So they seem to be like rolling out in waves, and Google's testing stuff because they're new. So that blog post that I posted on the last slide, here's what it looked like when their penalty got hit. This was around like early April timeframe. They reached out to us like mid-April, and it wasn't till a month later or so that we started to see that, okay, we're doing something right. We flirted with recovery, and then Google kind of got their bearings again, and then we got the full recovery here. So I'm pretty sure that, well, I know for sure, because this whole August 1st update, was very recent, but it started rolling out a month ago, and you haven't really seen many case studies coming out saying like, okay, we've successfully recovered, or we know the key to the whole thing. I think we're going to have to get our ducks in a row and be prepared when it rolls out again. But the good thing about it, if you do all the things, like this same website that had recovery in May, like was trudging along over time, and then when the August update comes out, like boom, look what happened to the rankings here. So you'll be positioning yourself to get further gains as algorithm updates come out over and over time. And I don't want you guys to feel dismal about like how complicated SEO is being, but if you're in the know with SEO, if you know what's going on, if you know like all the techniques and strategies, then over time SEO actually does get easier for you. The barrier to entry gets harder. You will find out that updates like these are causing your competitors just to quit and give up. So things will get easier over time, but we do need to up the ante on the quality of SEO we're doing in 2018 and going forward. And the payoffs will be quite great because of this lack of competition, or the competition is just going to get weeded out over time. So where can you find out more stuff about all this? Like, again, check out diggitymarketing.com. That's my blog. It's just where I vent about all the my outlet of all the testing that I do and the things that I like to share related to SEO. If you need hands-on help with recovering your site, reach out to thesearchinitiative.com. This is my agency. We pretty much specialize in algorithm recovery and fixing broken sites and stuff like that. Very, very strong technical team based out of the UK. And then if you want to learn like my approach to affiliate SEO, I got the affiliatelab.im, where you give training and whatnot related to affiliate marketing and SEO and ranking websites. So guys, thanks for listening to me. I'm totally available for any questions that you might have. So Andrew, if you want to like read me some questions, I'm open for Q&A.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, fantastic presentation. I think the guys are going to take a lot away from some of the things you said. I don't want to go into too many specific questions because I want to try and keep this kind of high level. I think there's a lot of information out there that if people have very specific questions, we can get specific answers. So I'm going to ask fairly high level questions so people have at least on the right path to fixing some of these issues. So first question is about slimming content, and if people have got blogs and they've got a lot of pages on those blogs that aren't getting much or getting little amount of traffic, is your recommendation to go through those and look at start to slim down some of those and remove some of those pages?
Yeah, so I mean that's a very valid theory, right? Like if something isn't providing value to Google's constituents, so to speak, like should we just get rid of it on our sites? And I don't really subscribe to that one. I just want to make sure that the pages on my site aren't considered what they to be a waste of crawl budget. So I want to make sure that they're not thin, they're not like just a few words or just like useless pages that are used to like syndicate other stuff. So they should provide some value. But if you think about it, like, does every boring white paper found on WebMD that doesn't get any traffic except for the two like super geeky guys that wrote it, will go take a look at it? Like, should that be taken down? No, it's super valuable. Like it might be the cure to cancer someday, right? So I don't really think that you should thin out pages that don't have traffic. Just make sure that they're providing value themselves and not wasting crawl budget and not thin.
Okay, and so but things you mentioned earlier, like tags and category pages, potentially those should be no follow, and you should stop Google looking at those sorts of things.
Yeah, I mean, like it all used to be kind of a speculation that this crawl budget thing is a real issue or not. But there was an update that the Yoast plugin had not too long ago where they accidentally toggled on a setting that would index every single one of the images on your site. And guess what happened? Tons of people's sites just tanked because their crawl budget just got completely decimated by automatically just indexing thousands and thousands of images. So we can see right there that you don't have an infinite amount of pages that you can index. So just make it easy on the crawler and just tell it to only look at the pages that you really care about.
Perfect. Okay. There's been a few questions about PBNs and the place of PBNs in SEO today. Could you maybe throw a few words of advice around the use of PBNs?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm probably the right person to ask. I'm still definitely using PBNs in my strategy. PBNs, like, to pull it off correctly, like you need to do a lot of things that you have to do in the years past. So they need to be very, very highly scrutinized. They need to preferably be tested, because even though you might know how to audit a PBN as a valuable link and audit its backlinks and stuff, like at the end of the day, there's more interesting factors that Google is taking a look at, like how many times the domain is dropped and stuff like that. They definitely work, but you need to know what you're doing. If you're looking for a vendor to get links from, I recommend Rank Club. I'm not affiliated with them at all anymore. It used to be my service called Diggity Links that I sold it to. But these guys, I know because I talk to them every week. They're continually doing testing. They are showing positive returns on all their links, and yeah, I'd highly recommend looking at them. Will PBNs last forever? Probably not. I think the reason they work so well is because you're getting links from pages that have a high amount of link juice and a lot of links going to their home pages, and you're getting links from those home pages themselves. There's just, in terms of what the algorithm is built on, it just can't deny that this is a very powerful, juicy link. But at the same time, a PBN link coming from a homepage link is a very rare thing in the real world. So you do need to supplement with actual links coming from inner pages of websites, like go out and supplement with, real non-detectable, like paid guest posts and stuff like that if you want to pay for them, or do real outreach, just supplement with stuff that is trustworthy in Google's eyes. And the simple way to look at that is supplement with links that come from websites that rank in Google, meaning that they have traffic.
Perfect. Okay, and there was a question, it was quite a specific question about, so this guy has some links on a foreign language Wikipedia site, and was just asking whether there's any quality in I guess, more foreign language link building. What's your perceptions on that?
I'm assuming, like, the reason you're asking if it's okay, if possibly you have an English site and you have a foreign Wikipedia link. I think you're fine there. Like, Wikipedia, although it is gameable and you can get links on there if you know the right people or you're persistent enough, like, I think Google isn't going to, like, penalize people from having links from places like that. At the end of the day, you just have to ask yourself, if my link, if Google thinks this is bad, then can I just go out and use this link to negative SEO other people? And, like, no, they're not going to, like, make links from Wikipedia be toxic. So I wouldn't really worry about it. And it's a very normal occurrence for any kind of website. Like, if you're a weight loss website, like, people that speak Spanish are into weight loss too. So it's a normal occurrence to get links from foreign languages. Okay,
perfect. Just a couple more. One question was about the EAT, and the question was, is it 100%, would you say, manual review at the moment?
Again, this is just my hypothesis. I definitely don't have any inside information, but I find it's just my hunch that while it's easily detectable, but for a human to be able to determine whether a website has adequate EAT or not, I find it very easy to manipulate and very hard. I think it'd be pretty hard for the algorithm to be able to figure it out. That
Yeah.
said, who knows how close Google is to really cracking the code with AI and machine learning? So maybe Google's listening to this right now and just saying, "Mwahaha, I can't wait for
Yeah.
Matt to use words."
And one good question is coming actually from Tony, just asking like if a site has been potentially penalized or at least dropped, would you invest time in trying to rescue that site, or would you clean up the content and deploy it on a new site?
Oh, dude, all the time. So like I used to be afraid like, oh, I burnt the bridge and like the site is cursed forever. So like there's two different types of penalties these days. If you have a manual penalty, that's actually a blessing in disguise because they'll tell you exactly what's wrong with it. We have 100% recovery rate on recovering for manual reviews. So that's just like, okay, your site's going to be offline for about 30 to 45 days. It's eventually going to get fixed. If it's an algorithmic penalty like what we've been talking about today, it's a little bit more of being patient and again going back to this whole idea of doing all the things. It's going to take more time and you're going to have to really get your hands dirty and take a look at all the pages, take a look at all the links, do a lot of auditing. But I mean, I don't see any reason that given the right attention that any website couldn't recover. At the end of the day, it's just an algorithm. It's a set of mathematics that determines whether a website does good or bad. And if you remove the bad, it's going to do good.
Yeah, perfect. Couple more quick ones. Someone asked whether you perceive pop-ups as being deceptive ads in some situations.
I don't think they're deceptive. Like it's just straight up, everyone knows what a pop-up is. Like no one thinks that it's really part of the website other than to get you to click something. But I do think that it does severely impact the mobile experience, and that's what Google's focusing on right now. So I disabled all the pop-ups on all my websites, including diggitymarketing.com on mobile.
Our traffic's like 75-80% mobile now, so it's
Yeah, man.
you have to look at that first for sure. And then
Which is
final one, just questions around the use of, I'm going to call them paid links, but affiliate links, like cloaking affiliate links, and any thoughts on how you would choose to link from your money site to an affiliate program?
yeah. So like I got an article on my site that basically walks people through how to cloak affiliate links, and it's just like using robots.txt to mask a directory and using a 3-to-1 redirect to kind of change the link itself. Like I used to be a huge proponent of it, but I'm pretty darn convinced that Google's not fooled by that anymore, and they can just look at the content of a page to figure out if it's affiliate oriented or monetized or commercial in intent. So like I don't think it really matters at all.
And if, because we have the ability to allow affiliates to direct link, and then we fire the affiliate pixel after the fact. Do you see any value in that? Or will Google know anyway? Oh, right, they're not linking directly for the fun of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure they'll know, but the value in a cloaked link is that you don't have that messy affiliate link that just screams out that someone is linking this because they're about to make money, and you can just rewrite it and stuff like that. It makes it look clean. So I'll continue to do it because of that, but I'm not being fooled that this is anything that'll trick the algorithm and thinking this is not a commercial page.
Yeah, sure. But if they did link directly, so instead of it going through a tracking link, it went directly to the merchant side. Would that be preferable?
That's clever. Yeah, how do you do that? We'll talk about that later. But
Super
yeah,
simple.
I don't really know. Like I mentioned before, is like I think that Google's just they're not looking at these kind of indicators anymore of like identifying affiliate links. They just look at the content. They know like this is a web page that has the word best golf drivers in the title. They have so much data from AdWords. They know that this is a commercialized page. So what you're trying to do by cloaking is trying to trick them and say like, no, this I'm just trying to tell people some information, but no, they know already.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Matt, thank you so much for your time. Really valuable. And yeah, if affiliates have got specific questions that they'd like to ask you, is it better to sort of come onto your blog and ask them there, or what's the best way?
Yeah, I think probably the best way it would be to go to the lab Facebook group and join there, and start conversations there. Like I can't really say I'll be able to field one-on-one questions like if you email me and stuff like that. I got the conference coming up in a couple of months, and then my wedding a week after that. My life is going to be I shouldn't say my life is going to be hell with the wedding coming up, but it's going to be challenging. So come over to the lab Facebook group, join up there, and start some conversations.
Yeah, that sounds great. Excellent. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.